This is Dance Studio 411, where we answer your real-life questions about your toughest studio life predicaments. Parent problems, teacher turnover, student challenges, policy dilemmas, and so much more. Let's talk about what's keeping you awake at night and what you can do about it. Here are your hosts, Suzanne Blake Garrity and Jill Tyrone.
Welcome to this episode of the podcast. I'm Jill Tyrone, and I am so glad you're here with me today. I am talking to you, studio owners, in a time that I know is super crazy. You are in recital mode. You've either just finished your recitals or you're heading into recital in the next coming week or so. But I'm here to talk to you about back to school season. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, okay, Jill, I'll think about this after recital. Good. So bookmark this recording and come back to it. But if you have already come out and you're on the other side of recital, I want to talk about back to school time. And here's what I want you to know about this time of the year. Back to school time is one of the most energizing moments in your calendar, but it's also one of the most overwhelming. You're worried about enrollment. You're trying to figure out where all the class placements are going, dress codes, parent communication, decisions about everything are coming your way, and it all hits at once. But in the middle of all that activity, it's super easy to get stuck in task mode, and you lose sight of what actually keeps the dancers coming back season after season. It's not your curriculum, it's not your pricing, it's not even your facility, and it's not your faculty and staff. Now, don't hear me wrong, those things are extremely important. There's no doubt about that. But what keeps them coming back is whether your dancers feel like they belong at your studio. So in the worlds of screens and scrolling and technology and all of those distractions, the dance studio is one of those few places where kids, students, young people get to experience genuine in-person connection. And that's what you're building. So today I'm going to give you some practical ways that you can make that feeling visible, consistent, and really easy to deliver so that your studio runs more smoothly and your dancers stay longer. So let's get right into it. Belonging is really a retention strategy. So let's start here because everything I'm going to talk about today builds on this idea. So let's think about your most loyal families. These are the ones who re-enroll every year without you having to ask. They just do it. They're there. They are the ones who send their friends. They show up to every event. They are the first to raise their hands to volunteer, to help paint and build props, to volunteer backstage, to make sure everything goes smoothly. So what do they have in common? It's usually not that their child is the most talented in the room, but it's because they feel included. They feel like insiders. They feel like the studio is theirs. Studios are truly one of the only places that kids get to show up in person. They build real friendships and they become part of something that isn't filtered through a screen. And that feeling, that sense of belonging is bigger than themselves. And it's really truly what drives your studio's retention. When dancers feel like they belong, they re-enroll. Parents notice and referrals follow. So the question today isn't just how to get more students. The question is, how do I make the students that I already have feel like this place is theirs, that they belong? And that's what we're going to build off of today. And that's where we're going to start. So making belonging visible, what your dancers wear matters. So belonging is a feeling. Let's think about that. You know, when you walk into a room, you might feel a little shy or a little uncomfortable at first, but you know right from the start whether you feel like you belong or not. It's a feeling. But that feeling doesn't always happen just naturally. So let's start with how your dancer walks into the studio or how they walk into school. If they're wearing a uniform or they're wearing branded merch with your studio's logo on it, something happens. People ask questions, other students ask, or if they don't, they're noticing. So it signals something. It signals identity, pride, community in a way that nothing else does. So your students feel really proud to wear branded merch. They feel really proud to wear a uniform. And it gives them that sense of belonging that we're stressing so much in this podcast today. And they can represent that everywhere they go. I have a little story for you. I was quite a ways away from home and I had my studio sweatshirt on with the logo. And I was walking around and somebody came up to me and they said, "Ah, I know that studio." And I said, "Oh, you do? Great. Tell me more." And so they were asking how I was affiliated with the studio. And I said, "I'm a teacher and I teach ballet." And great. So come to find out, our studio adopts a family every year around the holidays. And we learn about this family through a local church. And so this person is very affiliated with the church in that program. And so we had a very amazing conversation about belonging and about community and how our studio really gets very involved in helping this family every season, a family every season. So what they see from the church side of things and from the family receiving, we see it from the inside and how our studio backs this family. And so it was really nice to compare and see both sides of that. So that whole conversation and that sense of belonging and that sense of community came simply from me wearing a branded merchandise, a piece of branded merch from the studio with our logo on it. So thinking about that, we want to wear what we're a part of, right? Branded dancewear and branded apparel. It's not just uniform items, but they're badges of belonging. And it takes the studio identity beyond the studio walls and into everyday life. So when your students go out into the world, whether they're at school, the store, on social media, that's truly your best marketing. And new students can show up because of that. So you don't need a big budget or a complicated system to make this happen. We actually here at Revolution can help you do that really easily. We have our branded merch program. We have a way that you can actually do this that helps you build this sense of identity without the hassle. So I'm going to put links below on how you can click out and go read more about that. But before we do that, let's talk about dress code. So this is my third point coming into this. Dress code works for everyone. So you might be a studio that has dress code, or maybe it's a little not quite formed and it's not necessarily enforced very well, or maybe you don't have dress code at all. But dress code is actually one of the things that you can do to take a first step into creating some belonging. And here's the reason why. I teach ballet, so dress code is actually very important to me. We look at dress code as teachers, as it being a tool. It helps us see alignment. It helps us correct and make decisions about how we can progress the class. It creates less distraction and gives an opportunity for better instruction and better teaching. For your parents, not guessing is super helpful. They don't want to have to go and try to guess what's important or what they need to have their student outfitted in. So it gives them the opportunity to just go and order and provide for their student. And again, it removes the friction before it even starts. And then for your dancers, a dress code removes the pressure of being different. It gives everybody the sense of belonging. It creates an even level playing field. And for the older dancers, wearing their studio colors or branded merch becomes a real sense of pride. So consider offering dancewear and dress code as something that's really a retention strategy for your studio. And we can help with that too. I've got a great campaign where you can offer some incentives. So if you are thinking about discounting or offering like a free registration fee, let's shift that thinking and offer dancewear as your incentive. Give them tights with registration. Give them a free leotard with registration. Provide them with a branded merch item when they register. It's super helpful and convenient for parents. It gets their dancers into the dress code, and you're not taking money off the bottom line because chances are, if you're providing them with the free leotard, they're going to need and want the other things too, the tights, the shoes, and you can do all of that through a simple platform that we have here at Revolution called Nimbly. So this ties right into my next point. So one of the most friction-filled moments in back to school is communicating that dress code and then getting the families to actually buy the right things. So you send the list, the parents go and they get confused, or they buy the wrong things, or they're showing up in let's say clothing from those big box stores. So suddenly you're thinking your dress code is handled, but the students aren't coming in with the right items. So imagine setting up a studio storefront. You link it over to the families. They browse, they select the right items, the correct items for their dancers. They pay, and then the items ship directly to them. There's no inventory for you to manage. There's nothing that you need to handle. Even exchanges are easy if they're needed. And best of all, your studio earns commission on the orders. So that's what our platform Nimbly does for you. It helps you run a fully managed online storefront for your students and parents. The parents shop, you earn, and everything runs in the background. Again, let's make it easy. Let's cut down on that friction. Set it up and let it run for the season. We have some great improvements that are coming. So we've already implemented a lot just in the last few months to our Nimbly platform. So if you've had a Nimbly shop and you haven't explored it recently, I invite you to go back. If you don't know anything that I'm talking about and you're new to Revolution or you're new to Nimbly, the links are listed in the show notes. So I invite you to go and explore and see how easy we make it for you to help create that sense of belonging, to help provide dress code that is gender neutral, that is sensory friendly, that gives every student the opportunity to feel amazing when they walk into your studio. So the last point as we round out this amazing podcast today is talking about the time of year. So again, this is airing during recital season, and I know that. But what I need you to hear most is that if you set yourself up for a smooth back to school season, these are the studios that are really going to be successful. So hear that now. Set yourself up, and if you do it now, as you get past your recital, now, June, July, not August, by the time your August hits and you're actually back in the studio, you're done scrambling, right? Everything is set, everything is ready to go. Your Nimbly storefront is ready, your dress code has been communicated, your branded apparel is set, and you're all ready to go for the season. So now is actually the prime time to be thinking about all this. So let's take some of the angst out of your to-do list and let's set things up and let's get it going. Let's make it really easy. So kind of much like you think about your auto pay for tuition, think about your Nimbly shop as the same way. You set it up, they shop, the orders go out, and it's just done. It gives you that infrastructure that provides you time back in your busiest months. So if you've tried Nimbly before or you're new to it, I invite you to click the link below, see what's going on, see the new improvements that we've made. It's going to be life-changing for your studio. I can guarantee it. So let's recap. Belonging is the retention strategy. It's not your programming, it's not your pricing, it's not even your promotions. Those are important, but making belonging visible and creating a studio that sticks through what your dancers wear, that's what I want you to take away today. So build that dress code, enforce that dress code. Make it for everybody. Every person that's in your studio can wear your dress code and that branded merch as a sign of pride, of belonging. So we're going to help you set your dress codes. We're going to help you create less friction by giving you the tool to provide the dress code easily to your families. And guess what? You don't need to do all of it this week. Not at all. If you know me at all, I always say, pick one thing. Pick one thing. What is your next best step? And so today I invite you to ask yourself, what part of belonging feels most missing from my studio right now? Let's start there. So again, what part of belonging feels most missing in my studio right now? So if we can help with that, if you want to explore studio merchandise, if you want to explore your Nimbly storefront, if you'd like to get in contact with us at Revolution, maybe you're not a customer yet, we invite you to reach out. And all of those links are right below in the show notes. Click out, give us a call, and let us help you make this back to school time less stressful and build a studio that sticks.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Dance Studio 411. Visit us online at dancestudio411.com for more great resources and to submit a question for a future episode. Our number one goal is to help you build a successful dance studio business and keep your passion for dance alive.